And so begins the second day of my second trip around Mae Hong Son Loop on my way back to Mae Sot. That's the bungalows behind me here at the farm stay in Pai. And today is not working out the way I had planned at all, for some very unusual and amusing reasons. And I'll explain what those are once I get on the road. The main difference is that I'm supposed to be relaxing here all morning, just enjoying a good cup of coffee and a nice breakfast and hang out in Pai until, 11:30 or something like that, and then get on the road when the sun is out and the skies are blue and there's no rain and no fog. And that's not happening. It's relatively early, and I'm just getting on the road, and I'm going. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And here I am on the road, just leaving from the farm stay. I'm not out of Pai yet. One thing I didn't even realize about the farm stay until when I was leaving is they have a beautiful view of the surroundings here. The sky is actually quite clear right now, and I'm very happy about that. And from there, they have a veranda and a chill out area, and right from there you get a nice view of Pai and all the surrounding mountains. So it's actually, yeah, they have a nice view up there, which I didn't realize until this morning. Oh man. Okay, the reason that I'm leaving so early, when I intended to hang out for a while, is all this moaning and grunting and groaning that I'm doing. I'm just in a lot of pain. Ow! I can't really move. I can't twist my body in any way, particularly on the right side. The left side is fine. If all I needed was the left half of my body, I'd be cool. And if all I needed to do was go in a straight line and bend up and down perfectly straight, I'd be fine. Ow! But I did something to the left side of my body, and I don't know what. Something in there is twisted or broken or something. And I can't move, so I can't turn from side to side in any way at all. I'm hoping the pain will decrease as the day goes along, because right now I don't even know if I can ride or not. I didn't expect it to be this painful sitting on the scooter. Come on. Trying to get my body to relax. Yeah, but with this kind of pain, I'm not going to be doing much exploring today either, as I thought I would be doing. The number one rule of movies and video, I suppose, is show, don't tell. But I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of showing. Maybe just... Oh, man. Oh, God. Okay, that hurts a lot more than I thought it would. Today is going to be a struggle. Oh. Let me get out of Pai, and then I'll come back to my story. Let's start with what I think the problem is. Then I'll move on to the cause. I think the problem is pretty simple, just a twisted muscle, pulled tendon, something to do with the linings around my digestive system or whatever. The pain was so bad last night, I'm doing the usual thing. I'm on Wikipedia and on Google in general, looking up the symptoms of appendicitis and all these other life-threatening conditions. I don't think I'll be able to talk today either. Talking hurts. But yeah, I don't think it's anything, life-threatening or anything medical. It's just pulled muscles or something. And I think the cause of it is a combination of factors. One is that my last 2 or 3 or 4 nights, I just happened to be staying in bungalows, or in rooms, not bungalows, but in rooms, one bungalow, one room, where they had really old, really soft, bent mattresses that kind of put my body in the shape of a U. So if I happen to be sleeping on my stomach, I'm like bent the wrong way, and my whole back was being twisted against the way it's supposed to be twisting. Yeah, I just couldn't get comfortable, and I just sort of wrenched my whole back and my whole body, I think. And on top of that, before this return to Mae Sot, I've been leaving on all my day trips and journeys early in the morning, and it's been so cold. I've been so cold that my whole body has tensed up, and I've been so tensed that I've twisted my body around, like all of my muscles and tendons and everything just sort of got frozen into a statue position. And I think that, combined with sitting on the scooter for so many hours, has just wrenched my body somehow. And then yesterday was the beginning of this trip back to Mae Sot, and because of all those cold mornings, I was going to do everything completely differently. I was going to sleep in, relax, wait until the sun comes out when it's nice and warm, and then I was going to go on this on these trips, the 4 days back to Mae Sot. But that didn't work out yesterday because it was pouring rain all day, and up in the mountains I froze to death. I got soaking wet. It was really cold up in the mountains. The sun was not out, and I ended up all tensed again. Ouch. And I was okay yesterday during the day, but then I think the final twist of the knife came when I arrived at my guest house at that bungalow. And this brings me to a little bit of a theory of mine, is that bungalows are really an illusion, and I get suckered into them every single time. I got some bumpy road ahead. I gotta shut down for a second. I turned the GoPro around because I think the sun is right behind me. So on the video, I'm probably completely backlit. Probably couldn't see anything with the GoPro facing backwards. But here's the road ahead of me. And the irony is not lost on me that on the day that I can't turn, like I can't turn my body in any way or handle any side-to-side motion, that's the day, for whatever reason, look at that sharp curve ahead. I'm riding on one of the curviest roads in the world, the road of 1,864 curves. Normally, I wouldn't be doing this. If I felt like this, I would not be on the road. I'd just take the day off. But of course, the way life goes, I don't have a choice. I have to be back in Mae Sot by Sunday night to go to immigration on Monday. So I have to complete these next 3 days. I don't have a choice in the matter. So, I can't laugh either here. I can't sniff either. I can't blow my nose. A sneeze or a cough sends an arrow of pain through my body that just doubles me over. So I can't really do anything today. But yeah, I was talking about bungalows. You see pictures of these bungalows and they look so romantic. They look so beautiful. They look like amazing places to stay. So you get suckered into staying in bungalows, and they would work if your bungalow was on a beach and your nearest neighbor was half a kilometer away. But at these guest houses inside you know, city limits or just outside of cities, all the bungalows are jammed together. They're really, really close, and they have no walls to speak of. The bungalow there basically just had a thin layer of bamboo strips serving as a wall. And I had bungalows so close on both sides, I could hear everything from my neighbors. I mean, I could hear them breathing. It was incredible. So, and that doesn't work for me. I end up so aware of sound that I get inhibited. I can't do anything. You know, I'm worried about even typing on my computer late at night. I feel like I'm typing too loud. I can't play a podcast because everybody's going to hear it around me. So that's one reason I didn't stay in the morning, because I couldn't do anything in the morning anyway. I couldn't even walk around because I was afraid my footsteps would wake people up. And my bungalow had an area outside where, you know, with some cushions, and you could sit there with a cup of coffee and look out at the, you know, at the rising sun, listen to the bird song. But again, I couldn't really do that because I felt like I'd be disturbing people just by opening my door, because you get the clinking and clanking sound of the locking mechanism and different things, and I didn't want to bother people. And of course, with my body the way it is right now, I can't really sit down on the ground at all. If I went down on the ground, there's no way I'd be able to get back up again. So I couldn't sit out there and enjoy a cup of coffee anyway. But the other thing about bungalows, which you don't think about when you reserve one or pay for one, is that the floors are so wobbly. They're made out of, you know, a very loose structure of bamboo or pieces of wood with a bamboo mat on the floor. And as you walk around, it's like walking around on a swamp, on a sponge. You know, it bounces up and down and rocks from side to side. So when I arrived last night and I was unloading my scooter and bringing my bags into the room, I was trying to be really quiet because I didn't want to bother people. So that kind of makes you walk in a certain way. And as I was carrying my backpack into the room, the whole floor started wobbling from side to side, and I was going to lose my balance. The wobbling was so severe, and I ended up tensing my whole body, I guess, in a way that I don't normally do. And I guess that was the final straw. And as I was tensing my body to put my backpack down and just to move around the bungalow, something popped. Something gave on my right side, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. So, yeah, I didn't like that bungalow at all. And they even had one of the worst light bulbs I've ever seen. I swear it was like a 1-watt light bulb, cast absolutely no light at all. And at night, when you turned on that light, you're inside your bungalow, you can't see anything. It's so dark in there. It was so sad and gloomy and depressing. And that's why I carry my own light bulb. And I normally would have changed it. But again, these bungalows have these very tall A-frame structures. So the light bulb was 10 feet off the ground, and there was no way for me to get at it. So I couldn't shed any light on my gloom. And the final reason that I'm not currently just relaxing at my bungalow in Pai, enjoying the morning and waiting for the world to get warmer, is because I couldn't sit on the bed. What I would normally do is settle onto the mattress with my back against the wall, against a bunch of pillows. I've got my computer on my lap, and I'm busy typing away in my journal or writing emails, or I'm editing videos, copying files, doing all these things. You know, the bed is my home office. But in order to do that, I have to twist from side to side all the time. And if the mattress was a typical Thai mattress, like a hard mattress, it might not have been so bad, but this mattress was really soft and it kept spilling me over. I mean, I kept falling over towards the middle, so I had to tense up all of my body muscles just to stay upright to keep typing, and I couldn't do it. It was so painful. I couldn't do it. The ridiculous thing is that the only way I could get out of bed and into bed was through this complicated procedure where, like, to get into bed, I couldn't just get in bed and then lie down. It hurt way too much. So what I did was, in order to keep my body perfectly straight, I had to get on my knees on the floor at the side of the bed and then lie down, put my chest on the mattress, and then I had to slowly worm my way up onto the mattress and then stretch out my body and then sort of maneuver my legs into the bed from the side while keeping my body perfectly straight. Sort of like putting a piece of paper in an envelope. That was the only way I could get into the bed. And then to get out of the bed, I had to do the exact same. I had to reverse that process where I inched my whole body flat towards the edge of the bed and then slid my body over kind of in an L shape until my knees touched the ground, and then I could straighten up and start to walk around. But at no point could I bend over or twist in any way, and that made it almost impossible to do anything. So getting ready this morning was took a bit of an effort, and there was no way I could relax in that room. I thought about trying to go to a coffee shop where I could sit on a chair and stay straight that way, but I just couldn't do it. Nothing would have been open at that time of the morning anyway. So once I was out of bed and standing up straight, I just figured, okay, that's it. Just get on the scooter and go. So here I am. On the positive side, look at the weather. I was scanning the weather forecast desperately the last couple of days, last night and this morning, and it was calling for rain this morning, which is why I wanted to wait until later to leave. But maybe I'm going to get lucky because the sun is sort of out right now. You can even see my shadow ahead of me. I see some clouds in the mountains ahead of me, but maybe by the time I get there, the clouds will have cleared away and it won't be raining up there. Oh man, going around these corners. It hurts. I don't know, I thought when I got on the scooter and I could relax my body by resting against my backpack as a backrest. I thought it would be a lot easier, but it's not working out that way. But looks like good weather. It's going to be gorgeous scenery, and I only have to ride total about 107 kilometers to Mae Hong Son, where I have a really nice hotel room waiting for me. So that should be nice. Yeah, here's a road sign coming up ahead. The next town is Bang Mapa. That's where the cave is, the Lode Cave, then Mae Hong Son 94. So I can handle that. And hopefully by tomorrow I'll feel better, or my whatever's broken will feel better. It's really hard to turn the throttle. I keep slowing down. So whenever I go over the bumps or a curb, it really hurts. This is going to be a challenging day. A couple other points about the fake allure of bungalows. The thin wall, I mentioned, it means there's a lot of noise. Ow, ow. And at the farm stay, it was kind of funny because when I showed up, I was expecting to just ride my scooter right up to my bungalow. You know, park right outside the bungalow, carry my backpack inside, then I'm all done. But when I got there, there was a sign, 2 signs, at the entranceway to the bungalows saying, okay, no motorcycles and no cars beyond this point. You have to leave your vehicle in the parking area and then walk to your bungalow. And that makes sense because, as I said, noise carries so much there, and the thin walls don't keep any noise out. So if people were driving in and out all the time, you know, it'd make a lot of noise. Slamming doors, engines starting up, the crunch of gravel underneath the wheels, people talking as they get in and out of the vehicles. So of course I parked my scooter out in the parking lot and then, you know, walked to my room. But I was the only one that did that. The farm stay, it appeared to appeal more to Thai people than to Westerners. Maybe for Thai people, staying on a farm is more of a treat, and it's interesting to see 3 sheep and a bunch of rabbits, maybe. Maybe that's why it's popular. You know, in Canada, I'm pretty accustomed to being on a farm and being around cows and sheep and goats. It's not a big deal. So maybe it's why it's more popular with Thai people. But anyway, the Thai people, they ignored the sign and they just all drove their cars right inside and parked in front of their bungalows anyway. So there was a ton of noise from all the Thai people in their cars. And of course they're traveling in big groups. They're not singles or couples, you know, they're families, groups of friends, and you know, they're having a good time. So there's a lot of noise, ow, 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 as they go in and out of their vehicles and in and out of their bungalows. That van nearly passed me right into another car on a blind corner. I didn't see him coming up behind me, but I was pulled way over to the left, so we all survived. Anyway, there was a lot of noise. But the other thing, again, that's part of the allure of the bungalow that fails you because you don't realize just how much noise there's going to be. And the thin walls, they don't keep out noise, but they also don't keep out the cold. So that room was really cold last night. Before, when I was staying in Pai, I was staying at the Lilu Hotel. Ah, look at these guys. I've actually seen a lot of cyclists on this road. Pretty amazing. Well, I don't know why I would be amazed. I've cycled up a lot of steep mountains like this, but still, somehow when you're on a scooter and you see a cyclist, they look different to you, you know? It's sort of like, this road looks so steep to me from the scooter. I cannot imagine riding a bike. I guess it's different if you're just on your own bike, a lightweight racer sort of thing. But I'm always on a fully loaded touring bike. And of course that would be much harder to ride up this steep hill, this steep mountain. Let's call it what it is. Ow, ow, ow. But yeah, those thin walls in the bungalows, they don't contain any warmth at all. So whatever the temperature is outside, that's the temperature inside the bungalow. And when I woke up this morning and slid my way out of bed like a piece of paper coming out of an envelope and getting to my knees and getting to my feet, you know, my hands were frozen. So sitting there typing on my computer, editing a video, there was no way. It was way too cold to even do that. So it's also, you got to think about that when you book a bungalow. Whatever the temperature is outside, that's going to be the temperature inside. It doesn't contain any heat at all. And finally, of course, with bungalows, there's gaps everywhere. All around the door, there was a big gap. And I knew tons of mosquitoes were going to come in. So I had to spend a whole bunch of time jamming towels around the door to block all the cracks to keep the mosquitoes out. And at the farm stay, as I mentioned when I arrived, they're aware of the mosquito problem. So they have a system where they spray the bungalows and the grounds every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with pesticide. And when I arrived, it happened to be a Thursday? Yeah, yesterday was Thursday. And they had just sprayed everything. And so now you're living with insecticide or pesticide on top of everything else, you know? Ow, 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 ow. So my experience of the farm stay bungalow was not quite what I was imagining when I booked it. But I did get to pet one sheep on the head. And that sheep was so funny. I concluded that it really enjoyed being scratched and being pet. You know, it stood there for a long time, and when its friend tried to come in, it pushed it out of the way because it wanted all of my attention. And yet it didn't seem to respond in any way. It didn't move. It was like rock solid. And you could feel how strong they are. As I was petting its neck and scratching, there was no give at all. It was like petting stone. It was so hard. It was kind of something. It was really muscular. I was so surprised. But because he was like a statue, like a stone sculpture, it was kind of hard to figure out whether he was enjoying it or not. But yeah. Ow, oh, oh, okay. Going through these curves is triggering my, my injury, so I'm gonna have to shut down. You don't want to hear me saying ow, ow for the next 20 minutes. I'm on the other side of the mountain now, heading down. I'm not backlit anymore by the rising sun, so I turned the GoPro around, though I look pretty dark on the screen anyway. There's a viewpoint there at the very top, but I didn't stop at all for two reasons. Main one is it would be too painful to get off the scooter and get back on again. And you know, disconnect the GoPro and go take pictures and all that kind of stuff. But I've also stopped at that viewpoint 2 times already. I stopped there on my way to Pai, and I stopped there, well, multiple times, because I also went, when I went to the cave, I stopped there, and on my way back from the cave, I stopped there. And right now, the whole valley, all of that Pai Valley was socked in by cloud and fog. So there was really nothing to see anyway. There were no views. So I just kept riding, and here I am. Oh. Continuing with the failure at show, don't tell. I'm going to keep just telling. Oh, man, it's a good thing I don't have hiccups. You can imagine if I hiccuped, you know, every few seconds, I get a jolt of pain. I was just thinking about some videos that I watched from Paddy Doyle, because he's been riding his scooter all over Thailand. And I haven't seen all of his videos, but I watched a few of them, especially if I've been to a place, experienced it, and kind of shot some video myself. After I've left the place, then I might watch one of his videos to sort of see the place from his point of view. And since I went through this whole region, the Mae Hong Son Loop, I've been watching his Mae Hong Son Loop videos. And he did one video about this particular road that I'm on right now, the road between Pai and Mae Hong Son. And he started off the video saying that a lot of people talk about the road from Chiang Mai to Pai as being an amazing road. But he was saying that this one from Pai to Mae Hong Son is the real star of the Mae Hong Son Loop. And just in terms of the fun, the road, the views that you get. And I have to say, I agree with him, because I did the road from, you know, Chiang Mai to Pai. I didn't come from Chiang Mai, I came from Chiang Dao, but it's the same scenic road. The road from the scenic road to Chiang Mai would just be kind of highway, so there's nothing special about that. So I covered the same scenic route that I would have covered had I gone to Chiang Mai anyway. And it is a really fun road, and it's really twisty and curvy, and I like the jungly environment. The trees somehow feel more like a rainforest, a jungle rainforest, than here. But you don't get the same views. Like here, you get some really nice views of the surrounding mountains and the valleys and things like that you don't seem to get from the other side. Then again, I did it one time in heavy fog and the second time in heavy rain, so maybe there was a lot of views there that I just didn't see. But anyway, this is an amazing road, the one that I'm on now. And I can imagine if you're on a big motorbike and you're a real bike rider, and that's why you're doing the Mae Hong Son Loop, just for the fun of riding, this would be a lot of fun. And there's one corner up here in particular that I wanted to talk about. That's why I was thinking of Paddy Doy's video, because when I came up this side, there was one hairpin turn that was really kind of special, because it gave a tremendous view of the valley below, and it was really steep. And that particular hairpin curve, they'd put down special red tarmac. And Paddy Doyle, he said that it was red, that they put it down there because the red would warn people to slow down, and it's really sharp. But that red tarmac is actually not just red, it's a completely different type of tarmac. It's bumpy and very, very sticky, so it would stop people from you know, skidding and losing control as well. And when I got to that corner on my way up, I hadn't seen his video at that time. I was seeing I'm sorry for how I sound. Oh man, I'm coming to a stop here because that was bumpy. Anyway, that really hurt. Ow. It's really hard to breathe too, which is why I'm having trouble with this. Yeah, when I came up through the Mae Hong Son Loop, I was seeing it pretty much with fresh eyes because I hadn't watched any videos about it. I hadn't seen it so I was seeing it for the first time through my own eyes. And when I got to that hairpin turn, I stopped and I set up the GoPro in various spots just to film myself riding around that curve, because I thought it was such an amazing spot. And Paddy Doyle said that that particular turn was his favorite turn in all of Thailand. And I think we're coming up on it right now. Oh, and since we're coming up on it, I will flip. Oh man. Whoa, I never thought about that. I can't tilt the scooter to the right because I can't use the right side of my body to hold the scooter up. I got to make sure I'm tilting to the left. Anyway, I'm going to turn. This is so ridiculous. I'm going to turn the GoPro around to show the view you get as you go around this corner. Yeah, Paddy Doyle had an amazing view of himself as he went around the corner. It was from really up high. And originally I thought he had mounted his GoPro up on another section of road up above. But I don't see anywhere where he could have done it unless he climbed one of those trees. But I'm thinking now he was actually flying his drone above this corner as he rode around it, which is kind of cool. Ow! Oh man, starting is hard. I got to lift my foot up off the ground. But here, as I go around this corner, you should see, I can't stop because there's no visibility, so I can't stop here. I got a truck behind me. But there's the view you get as you go around this corner. You can just sort of see it briefly. Maybe I'll turn around and go back there and stop for just a second to take it in from the other side of the road. But that is the Paddy Doyle approved best hairpin turn in all of Thailand. Anyway, I'm going to turn around and go back there just to capture some of that view. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't do this. Turning is hard. I'll do it one time, but I won't do it again on this road. There we go. So yeah, here's the the red pavement that I was talking about. This red asphalt. It's bumpier, and I think it's made out of a different type of material, or it has a coating on it. It's very sticky. There it is. There's the view you get from this hairpin turn. It is pretty nice. It really is. And that's where the cave is. The Lode Cave is down there somewhere as we come down out of this mountain range. And Pang Mapa is down there. Beautiful morning though. Really nice. Scooter just went by. Really interesting one. One of those Honda CT 125s. And had all kinds of stickers on their luggage on the back of the scooter. I want to know where you get these stickers from. I've noticed that in all the like biker bars or like famous coffee shops, the windows will be filled with stickers that people have made for their trips. You know, like they're going on a journey around Thailand and they have their own logo and their own brand and their own stickers or something. And the stickers kind of commemorate the journey that they're on. But I don't have any of those stickers. I don't know how you get stickers like that. I'm just sitting here for a little bit to take in the view, and just took a couple of pictures. But yeah, this will be the highlight of the whole day, I think. This view right here. Oh, I think my GoPro's tilted, but hey, you get the you get the idea. Well, now I have to do the corner again because I don't really want to do a U-turn in the middle of this curve. There's no visibility. It's a little dangerous, so I got to ride up to where the road straightens out, and then I can turn around. And if I move fast, I can do a turn here. But I won't be doing a lot of this because in order to do this safely, I have to look in both directions, behind me and ahead of me. Listen for engines. I don't hear any engine noise. Nobody's coming. And we can turn. Oh, there we go. But looking behind me is not easy to do. But here we get the view one more time. Going around the corner. I'll go around nice and slow to take it all in. Not that I have much of a choice. This is definitely the slowest turn in Thailand as well. In the grand tradition of tell, don't show, I will tell you that that was spectacular. I pretty much Finished the ride from Pai to Mae Hong Son. Mae Hong Son is about 15 kilometers ahead of me, and I'm out of, I think, the most dramatic sections of mountains. That really was amazing. Even through the fog of pain that I'm still going through. Oh, yeah, it was amazing. I'm not known for making really good decisions, I don't think, but this decision, I've decided to do the loop a second time, you know, to go back from Pai to Mae Hong Son and then on to Mae Sot. That was a very good decision because I'd forgotten just how beautiful that road was and how dramatic it was. It really took me by surprise. It impressed me when I rode to Pai the first time, but it impressed me even more this second time. That was an amazing ride. But yeah, it was also a lot of fun because I got to see so many places that I remembered from my first trip. Even hills, you know, you're going up a steep hill and it's like, oh, I remember that. I remember that mountain, I remember that cliff, I remember that tree, even little restaurants and cafes and places like that. It was really a lot of fun to see them all a second time and just to be able to absorb the scenery. Really good idea to ride this a second time. And doing it a second time certainly gave me a lot of ideas if I ever did it a third time. For one thing, the town of Bang Mapa impressed me very much again a second time around. So if I ever did the loop again, I would definitely plan to stay there a few nights. That whole region looked really beautiful, really interesting, and that's where the Lode Cave is and some other caves. And right now I'm passing by the coffee shop that I stopped at on my way to Pai. I don't think I'll be stopping here this time. I'm just going to take a look at it. Has a very, I think it's the Chiang Thai coffee shop. Has a beautiful setting overlooking a rice growing valley there. The sun came out and stayed out, so that was really nice. There were a few sections, mainly at the beginning, where it was still really cold and my whole body would tense up again from the cold. But the sun is out now and it's very warm. And since I didn't stop anywhere at all, and I left pretty early, not so early, but I left relatively early, I'm going to be arriving in Mae Hong Son really early in the day because it's only a 100-kilometer ride, 107 in total. And the hotel I'm staying at in Mae Hong Son, I guess that will be the end of today's segment of my return to Mae Sot. Just show you the new hotel, the new room. Staying at an actual hotel with thick walls, nice solid floor, hopefully a nice solid bed, and I can get into that bed carefully, crawl into it, and then I can just stay there for the rest of the night and see if my back will recover. Yeah, the pain started off more on my right side more than anywhere else, but now it's radiating all the way to the middle of my back, as well as the right side, so it's getting worse rather than better. And thinking about places that I kind of missed this time that I would visit the second time, you know, I mentioned Bang Mapa. There's another road there, and actually again, I'm still thinking about Paddy Doyle's videos. In one of his Mae Hong Son Loop series, he went up this road that heads to the north
from this road, and he went up there because he said on Google Maps a whole bunch of coffee shops, and he went up there to get some scenic viewpoints and stop for a cup of coffee. But this was back during the height, the COVID was more serious back then, so everything was closed. And when he went there, everything was shut down. There were no coffee shops open or anything at all. But I started looking into that road, and if my back wasn't in so much pain today, I think I would have ridden down that road. I think it was, I'll have to look up the number, but I think it was 1226 or something like that. I guess it's a very well-known area where you can ride to the north and see a lot of beautiful scenery. But speaking of COVID, Paddy also shot a video in Pai itself. And it was really interesting to see his video to compare what the city was like compared to what I saw. Because when he was there, it really was closed. Everything was shut down. And the atmosphere was so strange. And as he rode his scooter around Pai and was pointing out all the different places, I recognized them all. I'd seen all of these places. But when I saw them, it was totally different because everything was open. The first Saturday night that I was there in particular, the walking street was jammed with people. It was really busy, really active. I mean, I didn't go out to all the bars. I wasn't doing the whole clubbing scene that you can do in Pai. But all the bars that I passed were open, lots of loud music, people dancing, live music everywhere. Yeah, the place was really happening. But when Paddy was there just a few months ago, completely dead. But what he pointed out, and it's interesting, was that at least all of the bare bones still existed. The bars and the cafes and the restaurants were all closed, but at least the buildings were still there. The signs were still there. So the owners hadn't given up, you know, they hadn't sold the place. So, you know, it looked like a place that could come back to life again. And based on what I saw in Pai, yeah, it is coming back to life, so that is a good thing. And since I'm talking about Paddy Doyle and his videos, I have to say that his video about Tak province, you know, where Mae Sot is located, where I spent a lot of time, that was really funny for me to watch. Because if you've seen it, you know, and I understand fully exactly what happened, because when Paddy went to Tak province, I guess he just wasn't in the mood for it. And that happens. You can go to the most amazing place in the world, you know, you can go to the Taj Mahal in India, and if you're not in the mood for the Taj Mahal that day, well, you're just not going to enjoy it, you know? There's nothing you can do about it. And for whatever reason, when Paddy Doyle went through Tak province, he just wasn't up for it. He just wasn't in the mood. So he talked a lot about how there's nothing to do in this province. There's, you know, it's so big and boring and such a boring place. He went on and on. At the beginning of the video, he apologized for that, and he explained what went wrong. You know, he just wasn't in a good mood. He was feeling kind of lonely. He was feeling depressed. And in Mae Sot, he stayed overnight in Mae Sot. When he was there, I guess he lost his phone. He left it behind. So that was really annoying and kind of depressing. And since he lost his phone, he then went to see the dam, the famous, you know, I can't pronounce it properly, I forgot how to say it, but the Bhumibol Dam. He went there, and then he was so unimpressed with it, of course. And the reason he was so unimpressed is he went to the wrong one. He never even saw the actual dam. And I can understand that, because when I went to the dam, I was really confused by the place. I found it really hard to navigate, like to figure out where to go. And everything that happened to Paddy also happened to me, where he entered the gate into the dam area, and then right to his left there was a dam, a very small dam over the river, and you're not allowed to cross it. So when I went there, you know, I thought, oh look, there's the dam, and no, that can't be the dam, can it? And I want to go across this little dam to take a look at the water, and there's big signs up and barriers saying, no, you're not allowed to go there. And I kind of looked over at the guard, and the guard says, no, no, you can't go there, you can't go there. And the same thing happened to Paddy, where he thought that was the dam, and he wanted to ride over it, take a look at it, and the guard was telling him, no, you can't go there. So Paddy was like, oh, what the heck? What is up with that? And he just turned around and left. And he says, hey, what's the big deal about this dam? But of course, in order to see the real dam, you have to ride beyond that point another 5, 6, maybe 10 kilometers to get to the actual dam. And if Paddy had his phone, he probably would have figured that out. He'd look at Google Maps and get oriented. And I had my phone and I had Google Maps. Even I had a heck of a time getting to the dam. I couldn't figure out how to get there. I went on one side of the river and I ran into a barrier that said, no, you can't go this way. You've got to go the other way. So I tried to go the other way, and I ran into another guard and another barrier, and he says, no, you can't go this way. And I was like, well, how the heck do you get to this dam? So I understood everything that Paddy was going through. I was lucky, I persevered, and I figured out how to get to the actual dam itself. So, but he never got to that point. But I was quite amused by his TAC province video. Just like I said, just because I could understand the mood you could be in, you know? And he just wasn't in the mood. I think the one thing that puzzled me about his video about TAC province was that he never mentioned Umpang or the Tilo Su waterfalls. And that's surprising, because he talked a lot about how there was nothing to see in TAC province and nothing to do. And yet, Paddy Doyle, if he's about anything, he's about waterfalls. He loves waterfalls. He goes to them everywhere. And Tilo Su, as far as I know, is the highest, the biggest waterfalls in all of Thailand. And they're in Umpang province. I mean, in Umpang, in TAC province. Plus, Paddy Doyle, you know, he's all about riding the scooter on beautiful roads, you know, like the Mae Hong Son Loop. And the road to Umpang is kind of the, you know, very similar to the Mae Hong Son Loop. You know, it's even a tourist attraction precisely because it has so many curves, just like the road I just went down. So I'm not sure how he missed that completely. He never even mentioned it. But my theory is he knew about Tilo Su waterfalls, and he knew about Umpang and how beautiful it was down there. But at that time, because of COVID, it would have been closed. Even when I went there, the waterfalls were closed. So he probably just thought, well, I can't go into national parks, I can't go to the waterfalls because it's going to be closed anyway. And maybe that's why he never went to Tilo Su and never went to Umpang. That's my theory anyway. And he made me laugh when he was talking about the city, TAC City as well. And Mae Sot in a way as well, because you know, I've spent quite a bit of time in Mae Sot, and I've ridden that highway between Mae Sot and Tak quite a few times. And I don't know, I find that highway to be spectacular. It's a beautiful highway. Riding on it in both directions, I think it's really beautiful and a lot of fun. But Paddy kind of dismissed it as really long and empty and boring. So he really was in a bad mood. And when he got to Tak City, a city that I found to be quite charming, he basically said, there's nothing here. They got a bridge, but that's all they've got. They got a bridge. That made me laugh, because I went to the bridge and I thought the bridge was really cool. I had a really good time just walking across the bridge. But I guess it doesn't take a lot to entertain me, you know. I can find a lot of pleasure in very small things. So that pedestrian walking bridge in Tak City, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite cool. I guess I'm into bridges. So I really like the bamboo bridge here in Mae Hong Son and the bamboo bridge that I saw in Pai. Yeah, I really enjoyed those. I guess they're not really bamboo bridges, they're more like bamboo causeways or raised walkways, something like that. Yeah, there are a bunch of other things that occur to me about Tak province that would have fit in pretty well into a Paddy Doyle video, because you know, I'm thinking of Chi Lo Su waterfalls, the highest waterfalls in Thailand, the dam, which is the highest dam in Thailand. You know, I never managed to see it, but there's the petrified forest, and at the petrified forest they have the longest petrified tree in the world. So there's a lot of the longest, biggest, highest, tallest things in Tak that you can put together into a, you know, a tourism style video if you wanted to. Well, here it is, Mae Hong Son. I made it. It's about 12 o'clock, just about noon. And I'm happy to be here because, as I said, I've got the clock ticking on my appointment at the immigration office. I'm really under the gun. I've got these 4 days to get back to Mae Sot. And it feels like if the scooter is going to break down, this is the time it would do it, right? Right at the absolute worst time. So the fact that I've made it as far as Mae Hong Son with no more trouble than a, you know, back pain and a torn muscle or torn something, is a good omen. So the hotel that I'm staying at here is called the Shang Sin Hotel. And I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it other than what I saw online. Mae Hong Son is actually a pretty hard place to book a room because, oh man, just accelerating really hurts my back. Everything gets fully booked here. I was hoping to stay at the PLP guest house again, which is a really good value, low budget guest house, but they were fully booked days and days and days in advance. So I ended up here at the Shang Sin. And yeah, it's supposed to be a really nice place, a newer building. And it's right around the corner from a really nice coffee shop. Someone told me about this coffee shop, and I tried to go there before, but it was closed. What's going on here? I feel like I might have already gone past. Yeah, I'm way past where I'm supposed to be. I passed the hotel a long time ago. Time to turn around. I should have been more careful because turning around on the scooter right now is really hard to do. And one thing I remember about Mae Hong Son This main road is so busy. It's almost impossible to find a time to be able to cross it. Surprising amount of traffic for such a small town. Oh. And I still have to remember every time I stop to lean my scooter to the left, because I can't support the weight of the scooter if I lean it to the right on my right leg. So bizarre. All right, so now we have to keep an eye open for the Asconic coffee shop, and then right after the Asconic we turn left. And if it's too early to check into my room, I guess I will go to the coffee shop. Huh, I feel like I went right by it again. What is going on here? Where's the Asconic? Well, I'm at the right spot. This is my road for the hotel. I just never saw the coffee shop. Oh man, turning a corner is so hard. All right, where's my hotel? The Shangsin House. There it is, right here. Wow, look at that. The Shangsin House. I'm here in my room at the Shangsin, and before I fully unpack and get settled in, let's finish up today's small adventures, day 2 of the 4-day journey back to Mae Sot. Yeah, this is the room. Very nice. It's what they call a deluxe twin here at the Shangsin, so twin beds. Very large room, very spacious. I thought it was an aircon room, but I wasn't paying much attention, to be honest, when I booked the place. So it may not have said that, but it is only a fan room. There's no aircon in here, no fridge, no kettle, nothing like that. So I don't know why it's the deluxe twin room, but here it is. It's very comfortable for me. Got a nice desk and an actual chair. A lot of light coming in through the windows. Wi-Fi works, seems to be reliable. There's your bathroom. And this room comes with a balcony. A view of some of Mae Hong Son. Bit more out in that direction. No furniture out here on the balcony, but that's it. I reserved this room through Agoda, and it was 450 baht for one night, which is $14 US, I believe. So I'm pretty happy here. In terms of the outside, the ambiance, the friendliness or lack thereof of the people running the place. You know, this isn't the kind of hotel where years from now I'll be saying to someone, wow, remember that quaint, charming hotel in Mae Hong Son with the friendly staff? No, none of those memories are going to stick. It's not, I would call it functional. It's not quaint, it's not charming, you know, the lobby area, the outside. This is pure functional. But if you're looking for a spacious room with, well, what I hope is a comfortable bed for me right now, nice and firm. Oh yeah, it's nice and firm. That's what I need right now. No more soft beds. Those soft beds were killing me.
Oddly enough, now that I'm off the scooter, I can walk around pretty easily because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this small adventure of pain going over the Mae Hong Son Loop, if I stay in a straight line, everything is fine, you know? I can even bend all the way down to the ground. I can pick things up if I keep my whole body in a straight line. So just walking around like this, doing things, it's absolutely fine. But the second I try to twist or turn my body, if I bend down and then try to turn to the left or right, then I get that stab of pain. Bizarre, but as long as I do the Frankenstein thing and I don't move my shoulders or my waist or my head, then I'm fine. So yeah, I'm gonna settle in here, fire up my kettle, have a cup of coffee, hang out, and I don't think I'm going to be doing anything in Mae Hong Son. I'm just going to lie down here, try to recover, and then tomorrow I'm riding 168 kilometers to Mae Sot, where I have what I think will be a very similar hotel room to this one waiting for me.